British sayings are strange. No one ever explained them. They weren't taught, they were simply absorbed. Here are more old British sayings we all somehow understood, despite none of them meaning what they actually say. First up, don't come the old soldier with me. This meant, I know exactly what you're trying, and it's not working. You never knew who the old soldier was, but you knew you'd upset him. It was a warning shot, a signal that your perfectly crafted excuse about why you were late or why that vase was now in 3 pieces had been seen right through. The old soldier, whoever he was, had seen it all before, and by extension, so had your mum or dad. Your clever plan had just hit a very firm, very British brick wall. Next, a phrase that chilled the blood. I'll give you something to cry about. The meaning was crystal clear. Stop your current crying immediately, or the situation will escalate dramatically. This was the first recorded example of emotional maths, a strange, terrifying calculation where your current sadness would be multiplied by a future, more tangible reason for tears. It was a threat that promised a very real consequence, turning phantom pains into genuine ones. It was remarkably effective. The tears often stopped, replaced by a quiet, fearful sniffle. Then there was the ominous, "You've made your bed." The unspoken second half of that sentence hung in the air. And now you'll have to lie in it. Possibly forever. This wasn't about housekeeping. It was a life sentence handed down over a poorly thought out decision. Whether you'd spent your pocket money on sweets instead of saving it, or decided to wear a thin coat on a cold day, this was the universe via your parents, telling you that consequences were real and you were about to experience them. This was the only bed in Britain that doubled as a life sentence. And what about the masterclass in parental ambiguity? We'll see. The direct translation? Absolutely not. Never. Not in a million years. But, for a glorious, fleeting moment, hope was allowed. You'd ask for that new toy, that trip to the theme park, that extra hour before bedtime, and we'll see would be the response. It wasn't a no, not yet. It was a deferred rejection, a gentle letdown cushioned by temporary possibility. Hope was briefly allowed, then quietly removed a few hours or days later when you realized it was never going to happen. Then we have the cornerstone of British social etiquette. That's a bit much. This didn't mean something was slightly excessive. It meant society has rules. You've just crossed several of them, and everyone has noticed. It could be used for anything from putting too much milk in someone's tea to expressing an opinion. With slightly too much enthusiasm, it was a quiet, devastating judgment delivered with the subtlety of a raised eyebrow. It was the most British way of expressing deep moral outrage without ever raising your voice. A favorite from teachers and parents alike. Don't get clever. The subtext here was, intelligence detected. Shut it down. This wasn't a criticism of your actual intelligence, but a warning against being a smart aleck, against questioning authority or finding a loophole in the rules. You'd found a logical flaw in their argument, and they didn't like it one bit. Your burgeoning critical thinking skills were seen not as a gift, but as a mild form of rebellion. Curiosity was discouraged early. Here's a classic for a moist Tuesday. You're not made of sugar, meaning you're going outside, regardless of the weather or logic. This phrase dismissed any protests about the pouring rain, the biting wind, or the impending frost. It suggested that a little bit of water wouldn't make you dissolve, a bold medical claim delivered with unwavering confidence. It was the reason a generation of British kids learned to tolerate being slightly damp for most of the year. Hypothermia was just a state of mind. Then, the prophecy of doom, it'll end in tears. Funnily enough, this was less of a warning and more of a weary acceptance of the inevitable. It meant, this is a terrible idea. I can see all the ways it will go wrong. but I also know I can't stop you. So, carry on. Whether it was building a precarious go-kart or trying to climb a wobbly fence, the outcome was preordained, and it always did end in tears. But somehow, it was still worth it. A phrase that encouraged independence, sort of. Use your noggin. This was a direct instruction to use your common sense, your brain, your initiative. It meant, solve this problem without involving me. It was often said by someone with absolutely no intention of helping, who was usually busy reading the paper or watching television. It was a gentle push towards self-reliance, forcing you to figure out how to fix the bike chain or open the stubborn jar on your own. It was character building, mostly out of necessity. And let's not forget the great leveler. You're getting too big for your boots. The real meaning. Confidence detected. Reduce immediately. The moment you showed a bit too much pride in an achievement, or perhaps displayed a touch of arrogance, this phrase would bring you right back down to earth. It was a crucial tool for social calibration. British self-esteem has always been carefully regulated, and getting too big for your boots was a violation that required immediate correction. And for any child who dared to leave a light on or a towel on the floor, there was. It's not a hotel. This was a stark reminder of your residential status. You live here. You have responsibilities. Behave accordingly. It drew a bizarre comparison to hotels, which are famously known for free food, maid service, and a healthy dose of emotional judgment from the management. It was a shorthand for a much longer lecture about tidiness, respect, and not treating your family home like a temporary lodging with an all-inclusive package. Finally, the mantra of a nation, I'm not made of money. The true meaning, stop asking forever. This was the definitive answer to any and all requests for financial expenditure. From a 20p mix-up to a new pair of trainers, it painted a picture of a parent whose very anatomy was not composed of currency, a fact that seemed scientifically sound and emotionally final. It was our first lesson in economics. Inflation, before we even knew what inflation was. None of these sayings made literal sense. They were codes, shortcuts for complex social and emotional messages. But somehow, we all understood them perfectly. And if we're honest, we're probably still living by them. If this all felt a bit too familiar, there's plenty more British nostalgia waiting for you here. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time on Back Then Britain.